The Looking for a Home was a total environment which we created at the Queen's College Art Center. It's basically a lounge where people could enter. It was a domestic environment which we created solely out of objects we found in the trash on the streets of New York City.
And so on the beginning, we started with just empty walls, and as we were making the finds, we were adding them, cleaning them, sometimes repairing them if it was necessary, and adding them to the installation. So it was also interesting to see it grow. And for us, it was the question also, we will be able to succeed to furnish the whole space, because we had a month to do it. And as we were searching for the pieces, we realized we could have done it maybe in 1 week. It wouldn't be a problem at all. And then as we added more chairs and sofas and things people could really also sit down and enjoy, the installation was happening in a public space, but creating this private enclave of domesticity. And so it became very popular, and people started to use it as their place to study and just to relax. And we also had a kind of diary where people could write their comments, but also they started to make requests, please bring a blanket or bring some more movies. So we actually found a functional TV and some DVDs, and so people could with their headphones look at the TV. We're really trying to research what was the history of the objects, and you could actually tell by the wear and tear, and also by the other objects which were maybe discarded along with them, if what was the story behind it, if the people were moving out or they were just refurbishing their apartments, or maybe someone died. So it was a really interesting kind of excursion into the New York history in that sense as well.
On the New York streets, you may find almost any objects which people discard from the apartment, and life goes fast here, and the space is short, so people trying to get rid of things, which is not as usual in other cultures, especially not the place where we come from. People tend more to hold on things. So you may find between those objects which are discarded books, and of course most of the objects otherwise end up in dumpster or in black garbage bags, but books people somehow feel sorry to throw out. So there is some kind of an unwritten rule or pattern. You may find people, if they discard books, they place them so they are visible. So they place them maybe on a doorstep, or instead of putting them in the garbage bin, they make a nice, neatly neat stack of books close to a garbage dump and stuff, so the passers-by on the street can see them and can take them. And it's rarely just a single book, or it's usually a collection. So we started to pay attention to books specifically, because we realized these collections which are being discarded are in a way curatorial choices. They are curated collections intended to be disappearing or to be put away from somebody's life.
So we decided for each of the collection, which we found create individual wooden box, and then assemble together with the other collections to create this library. So so in a way, it's a portrait of the city again, where you could think about each of the bags as an individual apartment where the people live, and then together they build the city itself. So we also created a kind of a labeling system, library system, where we categorize each book, and each collection became also got a name, for example, Fantasy Junkie from Bushwick. So we always edit the name of the neighborhood and the characteristic of the person. And it's kind of an ongoing project. We are still collecting, and we have now over 300 books in the library. This is my favorite. This is actually a reprint of an old atlas from the 1600s. And this is the title from Amsterdam, actually. And they are beautiful prints. Let's see. How people were imagining the cosmos worked, and you could see some of the maps are still have the Earth in the center instead of the sun. So it's also interesting to see how the idea was progressing. So that was one.
Yeah, but you can get like a whole variety of good books. So like a popular psychology by Malcolm Gladwell, The Blink. Then you get some romance. The Britannica, we got the whole Britannica, which is of course like thing people like getting rid of.
That was one of the first we found.
And yeah, you get pretty much all kinds of books. In nature, literally, there is not really a dirt. If you look at natural cycles, nothing is in a way a problem, because if something decomposes, if a tree breaks, it creates a new life for the next cycle, etc. And this is very different in our culture.
The architecture kind of prevents the natural processes to occur, so it just accumulates into dust and kind of it doesn't create new life, but it just creates new pathogen, allergies, etc. So it's really interesting to think, in general about the domestic space and then the natural environment, and how they could kind of help to each other to be more productive and healthy. So we just got like the regular cleaning products from the supermarket, and it was really painful for us to use it on the trees. It felt so wrong, but we felt like it's important to demonstrate that. And so just like cleaning tree or cleaning a river stone, which really doesn't make sense because the stone will clean itself. But you have to do it at home because otherwise the chaos will occur. So how can we kind of mediate these two words so that they will enhance each other and not kind of like contrast each other?
The contrast, but also like the idea, like the tension between our culture and nature, and why we feel these days so disconnected from nature and its cycles, is because we created this culture which seals itself from the natural environment, and the cleaning, once it's on one hand, is very important and part of who we are. On the other hand, it disconnects us even more from the environment. So as we clean all the traces and connections of our lives on a daily basis, we get more disconnected because we don't see the effect of or consequences of what we do